Truck and Auto Body, 100% guaranteed.
Nobody loves a deal more than Dad, so make him proud and shop Fleet Farm for his Father's Day gifts at the best prices guaranteed. Like a Char-Broil 3-burner gas grill for just $149.99. Or how about a Craftsman V20 half-inch cordless drill driver kit for $49. And whether he's grilling or drilling, help him look good with Carhartt Force Tees for 25% off. For more of the hottest Father's Day deals, stop by your local Fleet Farm or check out our latest weekly ad at fleetfarm.com.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a sense of purpose.
My reason why is love for the game.
My reason why is to inspire others.
One reason student athletes seldom mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship, and most of those are worth far less than the cost of tuition. So, why do they play?
My reason why is commitment.
My reason why is friendship.
A sense of purpose, love for the game, to help others, friendship. There are lots of great reasons to play high school sports and to participate in other high school activities like cheerleading, debate, and music. Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals tips off between the Knicks and the Pacers from Madison Square Garden at 8 Eastern, and it is win or go home for the Knicks. In the NFL, the Dolphins have had trade discussions with the Steelers surrounding tight end Jonnu Smith after he expressed interest in reworking his deal that is scheduled to pay him $4.8 million this season. According to ESPN, Smith prefers to stay with the Dolphins under a reworked deal, but he was not seen at their second day of OTAs. In baseball, Phillies edged the Braves 5-4 in Game 1 of their doubleheader. Kyle Schwarber with home run number 19 on the season. The Dodgers have acquired former All-Star closer Alexis Diaz from the Reds. At the Women's College World Series opening round, Texas shut out Florida 3-0, and Oklahoma walked it off 5-4 against Tennessee. I'm Monty Bolaños.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, and a good Thursday afternoon to you. How are you? Hope you're having a solid day. Thanks for checking in with us. We're off and out of the gate. South Dakota Sports Talk Show back on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in across the state. The Nate Brown Show is live. I love the guest lineup tonight. I love Thursdays. That means it's Thursday happy hour with our friend Rob Kegron, national radio host. He spends every Thursday with us in the second hour, so you want to stick around for Rob. He's on his way in. It's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. It's finally turning a little bit. 60s, 70s. Finally turning a little bit. Maybe we're good. We're solid now. State track's going on, so congrats to all the athletes running today, competing at Howard Woods. State track underway. You know what I love about state track? This is just one of those times where it's on you. There's no team to complain about, no coach to complain about. It's on you. So congrats to all the competitors. State track underway and some records being set already out at Howard Woods. So let's get going today on a Thursday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is live here on Fox Sports Radio, also on Twitter right now. Stream us at Nate Brown Show. So you can watch this show live on Twitter, X, they call it X now, at Nate Brown Show, and one more place, YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do that really easy. You get this show live. You get the archive shows as well. The Nate Brown Show. Watch us on YouTube. I said I love the guest lineup. Let's get it going. Mike Golick Jr. is on tonight. There is a new, and dare I say, I was on this show yesterday saying it's going to be set. The SEC and the Big Ten are taking over college football, as they already haven't. But this college football playoff system, I said it's going to be set, and now there's a little momentum there's some discussion of the Big 12 about a new format, and this might gain some traction. I like this one better. We're going to get into that with Mike Golic Jr. He is on tap, college football analyst for TNT Sports. Mike Golic Jr. is going to get us going. My wife even heard the show, at least the beginning yesterday, and she said, man, you were all upset about college football. What were you wound up about? She goes, I couldn't quite tell. I get wound up about college football. You know this. Okay. Mike Golic Jr. on tap. National sports columnist for USA Today. We haven't had her on. We got her tonight. Christine Brennan. She's been a best-selling author, and she's got a new book coming out in July. On Her Game, Caitlin Clark. On Her Game. Christine Brennan actually went to the Caitlin Clark game last night where Caitlin was out for the first time since high school. She hasn't missed a game all the way through since high school due to injury. Christine Brennan was there in Baltimore last night. She is on the show tonight. USA Today sports columnist. She's written a lot about Caitlin Clark, covered her debut year in the WNBA last year, and now she wrote a piece lately. What's this absence going to do to the league? So Christine Brennan, USA Today, national sports columnist coming up. And finally, Craig Maddox on as well. He is at State Track, Howard Wood. We've got Craig in tonight, SDPB Sports, live from State Track. Thursday happy hours on tap, so hang on. Rob Kagron is coming in, second hour. We'll light it up with Rob. Happy hour straight ahead. The Nate Brown Show inviting you on if you want in tonight, 605-720-1067. South Dakota's call-in show, so we'll get you on, 605-720-1067. Join the conversation. Also on the Barron's Wilson text line. Here it is, 605-720-1067. So save that number for the Nate Brown Show, and you can be a part of the action on the Barron's Wilson text line. The app's open, 605-720-1067. Okay, I'll just talk about this briefly. I'm not that fired up, but a little bit about last night. So I'm not a Timberwolves lifer like some of you guys. I'm not a Timberwolves lifer. I was kind of an NBA free agent fan since the Jordan days. I was Jordan, Bulls, that's all I was. That's it. That's everything to me. And after that chapter of the NBA, I just couldn't connect. I couldn't get into this super team and this athlete and that star. So I was an NBA free agent. So I understand the Timberwolves fan, though. A lot of you have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this organization to be something. They made a run there with Kevin Garnett, and now they've got this second life. They go to the Western Conference Finals last year, and I think people thought, was that a lucky deal? No. Now they make it again to the Western Conference Finals, and they get bounced last night in embarrassing fashion. That's all I'm fired up about. So I can't be this Timberwolves guy and tell you, rah, I was so upset. Oh, the Timberwolves there. I mean, they just went out the wrong way. And the only thing I'll say, I don't know if it's going to be this every year thing where the Wolves get to make it this far. And Anthony Edwards was kind of acting like that after the game last night. So they asked him, how much does it hurt to get to the Western Conference Finals again and then lose before the NBA Finals? 5 games. And Anthony Edwards said, I don't know why people would think it would hurt. It's exciting for me. I'm 23. I get to do it a whole bunch of times. Hurt is a terrible word to use. I'm good. And it's like, I understand you don't have to pick apart everything, but I don't love that phrase of, I get to do it a whole bunch of times. He was kind of talking about, I heard for like Mike Conley. Conley's been in the league forever. He's been on a bunch of teams. He's a great pro. He's the sportsman of the year, the whole thing. I heard for guys like this, it's like, hey, Anthony, this is what it means when you get this close. You got to seal the deal. Anthony, this isn't I get to do it a bunch of whole times. You don't get to do it a bunch of times, more than likely. So that's the only, I'm a little fired up how they played last night. They're not going to win that series. I thought they could. And they just, I thought they were hanging their heads. Body language in the first quarter was absolutely terrible. It was the Minnesota sports scene on full display. We're going to lose. We stink. We're out. See ya. 9 points in the first quarter. Can't have it. Okay, so I'm not going to say they could have done this, they could have done that, and Anthony Edwards wasn't good enough, and all this. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say two things. Didn't love the body language, the attitude, the struggles in the first quarter. They couldn't bounce out. They were dead. They were done. First quarter, it was over. I'm tuning into this thing after the show. That was it. It was over. And you can't have that as a pro. I mean, this isn't 7th grade basketball where we're hanging our heads. You got to step up. You got to play, man. There's a lot of game left. And so I didn't like that. And then I didn't love Anthony Edwards, kind of like, he's just kind of this guy is like, oh, I'm cool. I'm good. I'm good. No, I mean, you're not maybe good because things like this don't happen all the time. Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years? Yeah, that's not going to happen a whole bunch of times, his quote. I get to do this a whole bunch of times. Good luck, Anthony. So a letdown for sure, and last night was not the way you go out. Wolves got bounced. They were going to get beat in the series anyway. Last night was a letdown. Where do the Wolves go from here? I don't know. That's the thing. Are they going to be able to keep this nucleus together? Probably quite a bit of it. There's a few guys you're thinking, though, like, what do you do here with some of these guys? So I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be good, but Western Conference Finals good? That's hard. You don't have a Nikola Jokic, I hate to tell you. Like, Anthony Edwards is a nice player. This isn't a Jokic that can get the Nuggets to places they would never dream of. Okay, so Edwards is a nice player. He couldn't win the games all by himself like Jokic could for the Nuggets. So I don't know where they go from here, but back-to-back years in the Western Conference Finals, I think Timberwolves fans will take it. That's what I mean. It's like, we can't complain and whine and cry. You'll take it, but not a good outing back-to-back years, Game 5s. They basically get blasted in Game 5s. Okay. Listener text coming in. The Wolves are at least something. They shouldn't be ashamed. They look like the 4th best team in the West. Yeah, I mean, they used to be nothing, right? That's what I mean by the history of it. So you can't just hammer the Timberwolves. But it is one of those things. Do they ever expect to get over the top? And that's the thing I don't like about the Minnesota sports fandom. Instead of expecting to get over the top, you guys always expect to get hit right between the running lights. Instead of, hey, we're going to do it this year. And then the Gary Anderson field goal. Oh, my Lord. We're going to do it this year. And the Timberwolves flame out in 2 Game 5s back-to-back years. I understand. We're going to do it this year in the Brett Favre interception. So I understand these times. But you got to eventually say, hey, the Timberwolves, it's not quite good enough to get to the Western Conference Finals if you think you have a top 5 NBA player like Anthony Edwards. You got to get to some other place than just the Western Conference Finals. And he said he's good. I didn't love that. I don't need guys crying and getting angry like Draymond Green, but I want a little bit of, this hurts. This is tough. He says, I'm going to work harder than anybody this summer. Okay, that's good. Can the Wolves get over the top? They haven't been able to the last 2 years. Listener text coming in, being tough on Minnesota fans. This is a Minnesota thing. Losing is natural. Come on now. 34 years for a Minnesota pro sports franchise to win a title. Now with the Wolves going down last night, it's been 34 years. So there's a lot of you listeners out there that say, you have not seen a title in Minnesota sports. You have not seen a title in Minnesota sports. 34 years. That is the longest streak of any city in the country. With pro sports teams, that's the longest streak now. Listener text, the Thunder will be the NBA champs. They are that good. Book it today. I'm not going for the Thunder. Why is that? They're fine, I guess. A little annoying. I don't love the style, the flops, the fouls. I mean, I don't hate the Thunder by any means. I was definitely pulling Wolves big time. I'm not a Wolves lifer like some of you, but I was pulling Nuggets big time, pulling Wolves big time, and now I got to still cheer against the Thunder. So I'm all in on the Pacers. Let's get this done. I want a little upset city. Pacers. That's kind of where I'm at. Indiana Pacers. Let's do something that you don't see very often. The Pacers. That's where I'm at now as we go full tilt NBA. Okay, let's go to this thing last night outside of the Wolves game. Let's go to the story. So, and I'm doing a case study tonight on the Nate Brown Show. I'm doing a case study. I want you to be a part of my case study tonight, okay? So last night, we're going to have this writer on, Christine Brennan. She's a national sports columnist for USA Today. She's covered Tiger Woods, Super Bowls. I mean, she's been there, done that. She's all in on Caitlin Clark, and she was in early last year. She said the WNBA has to embrace Caitlin Clark. This is the ticket. And that's where I've been. So I got Christine Brennan on tonight, and I reached out to her. I appreciate her coming on. We're going to discuss this. She went to the Caitlin Clark game as a fan last night. I think what'd she say? She took her nieces. I'll talk to her about this. But she took her nieces to this. The game was in Baltimore against the Washington Mystics. Kind of just a no-name game, May 28th, early in the season, kind of one of those things. Well, we know Caitlin Clark's out. And what happened last night? I believe you're going to see a fall off big time in tickets, fall off big time in TV viewers. You're not going to get the 2 million people to watch the nationally televised games if Caitlin's not playing. So let's just keep an eye on this. They play the Sky, that Chicago Sky with Angel Reese. They play them on national TV coming up. And Caitlin's going to be out, I think. And I think you're going to see a steep drop-off. Well, what happened last night at the game? Christine Brennan was kind of looking. She said, this is, supposedly a sellout. They said they had a sellout, but there was a lot of empty seats. She said all of a sudden there was a lot of empty seats as she, a share of empty seats as she looked around. I saw this trend. The tickets for the game last night before Caitlin Clark was hurt, here's the ticket price, average, $350. That's if Caitlin was playing last night. That was the average price. That's a WNBA, $350 average. Caitlin got hurt. We know this now that over the weekend. They announced it. The tickets fell off the map. You could get into the game last night for $8. You could get into the game last night cheaper than a movie. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm doing a little case study here. I believe it's going to fall off big time until Caitlin comes back. I think Christine Brennan's trying to say the same thing in her new piece in the USA Today. She'll be coming up tonight. I'm going to talk to her about this. But I'm doing a case study. I sent it out to my unpaid production staff tonight. They're great guys. I said, you guys tell me. They're sports fans. They call themselves sports fans. They're sports fans. Have you watched a bunch of Caitlin Clark games and the WNBA since she got in last year? That's what I sent out to them. I got a reply from a couple of them. They said, I haven't watched the games. They said, I haven't watched the games. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, wait a second. The WNBA's ratings are off the charts. How many of the fans watching the WNBA games are only watching for Caitlin Clark? What percentage of WNBA fans watching now, like me, are only watching for Caitlin Clark? Do you think it's like 80% or higher? I'm serious about this. I know people went to the game last night and she signed autographs and they got to see her and she didn't get to play in the whole thing. But I think you're going to see there's a huge portion of people that are going to check out. You're probably not going to watch the Indiana Fever if Caitlin Clark's not playing, is my point. I think it's a huge number of people that won't watch. They only watch for Caitlin. And some people in the WNBA would say, that's a terrible thing. This is a league of good players and good basketball. I like the basketball. I've started watching the Caitlin Clark games, and now I do watch other games. I love basketball, though. So I'm a basketball fan. And I think it's good basketball. I think it's really fundamentally sound. I think it's solid. But I started watching the WNBA, yes, because Caitlin Clark got me hooked in that scenario because of her style of play and the things she does that nobody else can do. So I'm going to ask you that question of the day. Have you watched a Caitlin Clark WNBA game? That's all. That's all I want to know. I threw it out to my unpaid production staff. A couple of guys said, I don't watch them. I don't know if I buy it, but they said I don't watch them. Have you watched a Caitlin Clark WNBA game? I'm not talking the Iowa stuff. So they said, I watched Iowa, LSU. They both told me I watched those games. I'm talking WNBA. It has grown exponentially. And I'm curious where you stand on the Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. Little case study. Have you actually watched the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark? Have you actually watched the WNBA with Caitlin Clark? 605-720-1067. I'm curious. Text us on the text line. We'll go to Mike Golick Jr. next. There is a new format they're talking about for the college football playoff. I like this one better. Is this going to be the real deal? Will they do this? Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Get ready for summer. It's the Memorial Day sale through June 2nd at Splash City. Create your summer retreat in your backyard with a hot tub or a swim spa, or heat up with an infrared sauna for as little as $99 a month from the leading brands in the market. Jacuzzi, American Whirlpool, or Sundance. Get 0% financing and save up to $5,000 in factory rebates. Enjoy the summer ahead and save during the Memorial Day sale through June 2nd at the area's #1 summer fun spot, Splash City. Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and Rapid City.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, your backyard is right in our backyard. So when you need to feed your grass, remove the weeds, or wrangle those leaves, go to the best place that delivers on top brands like Ego, Toro, and Steel. No warehouse store can match the convenience of your locally owned neighborhood Ace. So stop on by. You can also order online for curbside pickup or get what you need delivered. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their lawn care. At participating stores.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling excess equipment for Galen Niederwerder and guests about 6.6 miles north of New Underwood, South Dakota. On the New Underwood Road to the Ricky Road auction site. John Deere 4430 with a cab and Farmhand 945 loader and grapple. Here's a John Deere 2030 gas tractor with a 3-point. Bobcat 753 skid steer. Featherlight aluminum gooseneck stock trailer. A Titan bumper pull 20-foot trailer. A DCT gooseneck flatbed with tandem axle duals. For more auction details and to bid and buy, go to McPherson Auction.com.
Hey, golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 48. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 81 tomorrow, mainly sunny. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night, lows around 56. Ample sunshine and dry Saturday and Sunday, upper 70s, Saturday, upper 80s by Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 66.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on. Thursday edition of the program. Let's get going tonight. Christine Brennan's coming up. We haven't had her on before. Excited about that. She's got a new book coming out on Caitlin Clark. USA Today national sports columnist Christine Brennan on tonight. Thursday happy hours on tap with national radio host Rob Kagron. Rob Kagron's in for a full hour coming up on South Dakota Sports Talk Show live in studio. Mike Golick Jr. is going to get it going tonight. College football's talking about all sorts of stuff. College football playoff, 16 teams. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? TNT Sports college football analyst Mike Golick Jr. on. How are you, Mike?
I'm exhausted in the college football offseason, brother. I don't know how you're holding up.
I love it. I actually love it, man. You got this show. You know how this goes. You got a show every day. You got to be popping. Okay, what about this? What about that? Okay, I said yesterday, this is just 24 hours ago, Mike. I said, here's what's going to happen. The SEC and the Big Ten are going to say, we're going to get 4 spots automatic. Okay? That's what's going to happen. And then there's this momentum, I guess, over the last 20 hours that, well, there might be a different format. Maybe we just go to a 5-conference champion automatic berth and then the rest of the highest-ranked 11. So you tell me who's going to win out here on this thing. It felt like the SEC and Big Ten were going to just go auto for sure. Do they think they're going to get a lot of teams in this new format anyway?
Yeah, that seems to be the assertion, right, is this idea that, hey, are you actually shortchanging yourself if we're dealing with 16 teams and you're only getting 4 bids automatically in this and carving out all those space for other people? And, I mean, you look around a lot of the other sports in college athletics and you see the dominance of the Southeastern Conference, the resources that they have, the way it's tilted the playing field in their favor as college football and college athletics in general have become more financially driven. I can kind of understand it from them. What I think is interesting about this, and the reason I'm unsure what's going to prevail, is the suits seem to want the 4 games automatically because that's guaranteed money, and that's what all this is about. The coaches brought up the 5+11 things because I still think there's a lot of them that's governed by that competitive fire of, hey, let us just handle this. We're more than good enough to get way more than that number of 4 in there. Just let us go out there and put in the work on the field because ultimately that's where they still want to go prove this thing. They don't want it left up to the committee because you see that's where the frustration from the coaches comes from is what's factored in how they choose this, the strength of schedule thing we've heard the SEC coaches renew their cries about in the last few days. They all want this to be handled cut and dry on the field. And so I do think that was an interesting development and interesting that came from the coaches who were actually tasked with going to do this and not just presidents and conference heads.
Do you think this needed to be burned down at all? I mean, I guess they want to just get more teams in. It's more money, the whole thing. Did you think we just could stay at 12 and be fine?
Yeah, I thought we could have. I thought we could have stayed at 4 and been fine. And, I through the first year of the 12-team playoff, I thought, all right, you know what? We did end up talking about more teams around the sport. And stupidly, naively, I thought, oh, what a nice unintended byproduct that we got out of this. The thing that actually could have been the silver lining came to fruition. And we got to talk about Arizona State and Boise State and all these schools that were hanging around in the periphery, SMU in the great season that they had, only to see it immediately followed up by the people in power say, yeah, we don't know if we want all of that necessarily happening in that same way. So we're going to see this the different way, and we're going to try and maybe get some automatic qualifiers in here. I thought in terms of competition on the field, 4 could have been fine. And once we got to 12, I was happy to be proven a bit wrong, like I just said. But the thing we need more than anything in this sport is stability right now. And I understand that's kind of nonsensical because in college football, change has really been the only constant. But someone pointed it out the other day. We did have 10 years of the 14 playoffs. That felt like a good bit of stability where we all kind of understood this is what's going on. This is generally what it takes. We had rules that we felt like we could fall back on when it came to who usually got into the playoff and how. And now every year, we're relearning that. We had to relearn it last year, and we already saw some people had a negative reaction to the way that it went off a one-season sample size of this new round of playoff. And so I just worry that we're going to get addicted to tinkering now because the people making the decisions in name of dollars and cents are not necessarily aligned with what I think is best for the sport, which is people to know where things are, for fans and coaches and players alike to be able to know this is the expectation, this is the set of circumstances. Now let us go out here and compete, play, coach, and root for our team in an environment we feel like we understand. We can't keep shifting the ground underneath people's feet.
Mike Golic Jr. on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, TNT Sports College Football Analyst. Here's my issue with the automatic 4. You know, it's going to be 4 to the SEC, 4 to the Big Ten, 2 Big 12, 2 ACC, and then, you know, a group of 5 and a couple of at-large. The automatic 4 is, well, the conference championship games seem like they would mean nothing. Maybe a difference between a bye or not. But with the 5, that would be 5 conference champions earning the automatic bid. Don't we want the conference championships to still matter at all?
I have often been the conference agnostic, former independent school alumni, so I have a bit of anarchy in my takes when it comes to that. But to your point, if we are going to game this out and say we want college conference championships to still matter, it is weird to me that the same crowd that has constantly been backing that is now all of a sudden talking about these models where you've heard some of the ways they've been trying to get creative with this. If we went to these 4 automatic qualifiers, where are we doing some sort of 4-team conference playoff at the end of the season to try and help cement those different bids? Are we going to have teams further down the pecking order potentially play for their spot in there and rest the best teams so that they don't have to deal with that loss or the potential injury and all these other things that really seem like we have lost the plot of the process here if we want this to look anything like the sport that we've had for the majority of time. So, yeah, the 5 plus 11, I think, would come pretty close to solving that. The double bye stuff seems weird to me, too. Like, again, we've always had FCS football. I mean, we talk about it all the time on here, right? The North Dakota State, South Dakota, all these different teams that have played a 16-team playoff for a long time and done it pretty darn well. If we're going to expand this out to 16, which, I have my reservations about, I've always told you, players not having a say in this while they are technically getting paid now, but not having a voice in this addition of games on top of their body at a really high level is always going to rub me the long way. But at the very least, we've seen the ball go through the basket on this. Let's try and make it as much like that as possible if we're going to do this. Let's ensure that, like you said, those conference championships matter. We get 5 conference champions in, even if they're not the 4 highest seeds, and then we go from there and let the people on the field continue to win the day.
I'm with that. I'm on it. I don't know if this is going to play out, but they're saying 5 conference champs auto, and then the 11 highest ranked after that. So if we had that last year, Mike, here's how it would play out. 6 SEC would have got in. 6 SEC. 6 out of 16. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me if they're the best. And I think even with that, we saw this year, clear as day, Nate, someone's still going to complain. Like, I never thought I'd see a world where the SEC at large would be willing to burn everything down for 2024 Alabama. We watched a lot of great Alabama teams in the last 2 decades, Nate. That was not one of them. It was a very good team. It's no disrespect to Coach DeBoer, to the guys that played out there on that squad, Jalen Milroe, and some awesome players. But that was not a team that went out and handled their business enough in a way in critical games and winnable games that makes me feel the need to go out here and defend them to the hilt as if they were wronged worse than anyone in the history of college football, and to now all of a sudden change the shape of the sport because of that. But that's a good reminder that even if we go to 5+11, and even if we let 16 teams in, there is still probably going to be a version of this. And someone will go out here and raise hell because that's what we know how to do in this sport, apparently.
Yeah, I get it. Mike Golic Jr. on tonight. Give me your opinion of recruits still making videos, commitment videos, saying, I am committed. I'm going to jump in the pool with Coach Dan Lanning. And then that player just decommitted here yesterday. Commit this day and age. You do the video or no?
I was never big on the video anyway, but I'm an offensive lineman. I'm not wired to draw attention to myself unless I absolutely need to. There's a difference in eras and position styles there. I would say this. You know what? Content around commitments has always been a big thing. Going back to my day when the hat picking was revolutionary, and we've evolved a lot since then in a lot of ways, I'm pretty fine with it. These guys all know the game. Dan Lanning knew better than anybody in this day and age. Hey, this could come back to bite us. But you know what? I got to go out here, and I got to actually get my feet wet, pun fully intended in this process, if we're going to have a chance with any of these kids at this point, because that's just kind of how the system works now.
That was interesting. Okay, last one. The NCAA is really looking at expanding the men's basketball tournament. They said they're going to try to do that for this next year. Is the goal to go to 72 or 76 teams? What do you say? March Madness bracket just got maybe 8 teams bigger.
Please, God, no. We don't. we don't need it. You know what? Men's college basketball is already a product in a very interesting position. Where the regular season, even last year, where we had a guy in Cooper Flagg who was that sort of one and done phenom that had legitimate NBA prospects that we've been begging for a while. It feels like really since Zion, of a player of that caliber. And it still didn't move the needle all that much during the regular season for that Duke squad. And so I have questions about the men's college hoops regular season, and I don't think adding more teams and bodies to that tournament is going to do anything to help that out right now. I get the tournament's their bell cow. It is the be-all, end-all for that sport, and more seems better. But, man, I feel like in a lot of sports, very soon, we're going to find out what the saturation point looks like. And I have a feeling for me in men's college hoops, it looks something like what you just described.
Yeah, top priority for Charlie Baker is to expand the tournament for March Madness maybe next year. Mike Golic Jr., follow him on X at Mike Golic Jr. You'll find him there, TNT Sports. Mike, always good. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, Nate. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Great to have him kicking off the show. Mike Golic Jr. in prime time on the Nate Brown Show, TNT Sports, college football analyst. He's on Twitter at Mike Golic Jr. So I was referencing, you know how the kids these days, they do their commitments where they're going to go to college, and they still choose the hats. They'll do the hats and stuff. And this edge rusher, chose, I'm going to do this video to commit to Oregon. And he was at a pool deck, and he actually got the head coach at Oregon, Dan Lanning, to do it with him. And he took off his shirt, and they jumped into the pool. I'm going to Oregon. They jumped into the pool, and then they did the Oregon, hand gesture. Well, yesterday, that player who committed by jumping into the pool with Dan Lanning decommitted to Oregon yesterday. So, no, I'm not with Mike Golic Jr. on that. If I'm a coach, I'm not doing any videos. Well, you have to. You got to get these guys. They want to do it. You got to suck up to them. You got to get these guys. I'm not doing any of the videos because then the next week, literally, he did it 1 week, and then the next week the player decommitted to Oregon. My goodness. More on the expansion of the men's tournament. I just kind of slipped that one in there. It's a busy Thursday on the Nate Brown Show. Charlie Baker, he's the president of the NCAA. He said one of his top priorities is to expand March Madness. Could be coming as soon as this next season. Baker said we've been talking about 72 and 76 teams. You got to remember, we went to 68 14 years ago, 2011. It's been a long time now with that. So he's looking at 72, 76. Your March Madness bracket just got harder to read. Craig Maddox on next. SDPB Sports. Live from State Track. A lot to discuss with Craig on the way.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
The best new cars and trucks is the place you'll find the best used cars and trucks. That place is Denny Mental Toyota. Shop better quality import and domestic models. Buy with no down and make no payments for 90 days. Plus, buy Toyota certified pre-owned with financing as low as 5.49% APR for up to 60 months. See us at Denny Mental Toyota or DennyMentalToyota.com. 1910 per 1,000 finance regardless of down. Offers with qualified credit expires 6/30/25.
Eating in Deadwood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Get set for a night of non-stop laughs as the Box Elder Event Center welcomes comedian Michael Palisak.
When I was in college, my parents relocated to Chicago, and I found them.
After being a finalist on Last Comic Standing and appearances on Stephen Colbert and Conan, he's coming to Rapid City Saturday, May 31st.
The closest thing we have to a gang is the Future Farmers of America.
Advance tickets are just $20 at thebox.live. Don't miss Michael Palisak at the Box Elder Event Center, Saturday, May 31st.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. New content, new guests each time out. If you miss parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Best way to catch all of the show. See who's on from high school to college to the pros. Try and get you covered every day. Local, regional, national. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. All of the shows are there. All of the guests are there. Search the Nate Brown Show where you get your podcast, and we're there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We're live on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show with Craig Madigan tonight. He's at State Track, Howard Wood, SDPB Sports. Craig, good to have you on. Beautiful day. How are you?
Yeah, great day to have a track meet. Beautiful. You know, a week ago we would have been inundated with rain, but beautiful day here in Sioux Falls, and the weather's expected to be pretty good tomorrow and Saturday, too, getting warm, so it's pretty typical for state track meets.
Okay, I'm going to serve one up for you. How good is the venue, State Track, Howard Wood? People are saying this is where it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Rapid City, you know, not able to do all the combined classes here, so State Track at Howard Wood, is it here to stay?
I think it is, and probably should. because of the facility we're talking about, you can have all of the field events. I mean, they're not all in the infield of Howard Wood Field, but they're adjacent. People can go walk over there and see the field event. You got 10,000 people in the stands that can sit and enjoy watching all the relays and the races. So I really think just because of how it's set up, the parking is not too bad. They're parking, 3-4 blocks away, but when you're dealing with the huge crowds that the state track meet brings, you know what? Howard Wood is probably where it should be at. And if there's a way for expansion out west, I would certainly think they would take it if it could be hosted like it is in Sioux Falls.
Do you think everybody likes all classes there and like you say, everybody's there, it's pretty convenient. Do you think everybody likes all of this combined?
Well, especially like Saturday, when that's the big day when we have all the finals. You start out with the hurdles and the sprints, and you're actually watching Class B and then Class A and then Double A. So I think there's some excitement with that because each race does give a gold medal to the athlete that has the best time or the best throw or the best height against all three classes.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that. You can see really who's the best of the best in South Dakota. By the way, if state track is in Howard Wood, I've made it a point. I really believe the passion and the monument and the atmosphere and the time of year, February, where hotels are just fine, the monument, Rapid City for state wrestling. Do you think that's going to be something?
I think that's a big-time possibility. I agree. I think the monument, really, whatever the monument does, they do a great job, no matter hosting what. But I do like wrestling there. There is room for wrestling when you're dealing with over, 100 schools at state wrestling. I like it at the monument. I hope it stays there.
All right, we'll see on that. I think that's a nice read on things. If Howard Wood's great for state track, and it is, I think the monument and the wrestling community out west is really, really good for state wrestling. I think it'd be a nice Rapid City / Sioux Falls compromise on two big combined state events. Craig Maddox on tonight, SDPB Sports. Okay, Craig, I've got a question for you. With high school sports now, you see athletes trying to get scholarships. You're seeing some right there. You're at Howard Wood. We got some great track athletes. They're going to be going to college. I want to know, with NIL coming into play, with money actually being paid to some athletes now it's not everybody in the Olympic sports, but they are getting paid. Does that trickle down to youth sports parents? Are parents now more interested in, we got to get our kids to college because now they can actually make money over a scholarship? Is that a factor or not?
It probably is a factor, but I don't think it's a big factor. Because let's just pick basketball. We'll just pick basketball as a sport. My kid, he's not too bad in basketball, but when you compare him with others, I think a lot of the athletes find out early on where their skills are going to be. It's one of those where you may get pressure from mom and dad to be the athlete, but for the most part, I think eventually it all comes down to the athletes will either they like it or not going to be told what their possibilities are when it comes to NIL money. You're going to have to be a really elite athlete to be involved with that. And, the vast, as I watch pole vault, Volter clear the pole here. I really think it comes down to what's available. You've got to be a pretty good elite athlete if you're going to be getting NIL money.
So what's driving mom and dad out there on the fields right now, softball, baseball, soccer? What's driving mom and dad saying, we got to be the best of the best?
Well, it will all come down to what scholarships are available, and scholarships are plentiful at all levels of athletics. but it's not necessarily going to be with any NIL money.
Yeah.
You got to be a pretty big elite athlete to do that.
No, I'm with you on that. Okay, Craig, I'm going to go old school. You like old school, right? So I'm going to go old school. If I have a high school athlete, this is my question of the day yesterday. I want to know if I'm a bad dad tonight. I have a high school athlete. I have her doing the workout. She's doing the team stuff and the open fields and the sprinting and all that. And I had her get a job. She's working as well. High school athletes, do they also need to have jobs in the summer? Craig Maddock, your answer.
Yes. And I'm sorry I didn't answer that any faster. I really do. I really believe that spending the whole summer training is something, but I think they need to get away from that training in the summer. And you know what? Mom and Dad would love it if they had a job too.
All right, Craig. You just so you make people work. Okay, you make me feel better.
My kids did.
Okay, you make me feel better. What's your job there at Howard Wood? You're like announcing all the winners or what?
Yes, listing the. I'll be right there. Are they ready for it? We announce the top 8 finishers of each of the races, and Tom Frederick and myself and Jeff Lukens, we've been doing it for many, many years, and we enjoy doing that.
Okay, and you got to do it, man. I appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Craig Maddock in tonight. Download his new podcast, In Play, as he runs to announce the winners at Howard Wood right now, State Track Live. Craig Maddock on. His podcast is In Play. He just did a new podcast. I saw this with one of the great track stars from South Dakota history. So the podcast with Craig Maddock, it's called In Play. It's on SDPB Sports. Wow, so I feel a little better about myself. I'm not such a, tough guy, mean guy. High school athletes, do they need to get jobs in the summer as well? They got a lot of commitments with sports, way more than you and I had, I think, honestly. And do they need to get jobs in the summer as well? I say yes. And what was the answer here? We had 114 votes, so pretty substantial size. 114 votes. 72% of you say, yes, you got to have the high school athletes work a job as well as their sports in the summer. 72% are with me. 28% say, Nate, no time for a job. Let's get into this. I want to give my read on this. I've thought about this. You know how us parents, we take sports serious, youth sports, and you're trying to go to this tournament and that tournament. You're trying to be on this team and that team and get development, make sure you're advancing. Do you think NIL money has changed parents' perspective on how much they look to get their kids at the next level? Do you think NIL money, not just scholarships, has changed a parent's perspective? Well, now we got big cash on the line. I've got my read on it. Maybe you disagree. We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big on everything for your next project at Menards. From hitches to ratchet straps and everything in between, we've got all your hauling needs covered. Tow smarter with a Tow Smart ball mount trailer hitch. It's built with durable steel construction that resists rust and corrosion. On sale now through June 1st. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 48. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 81 tomorrow, mainly sunny. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night, lows around 56. Ample sunshine and dry Saturday and Sunday, upper 70s. Saturday, upper 80s by Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 66.
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in, the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Christine Brennan's coming up. Hang on, USA Today national sports columnist. Excited to have Christine on. She's a best-selling author. Great writers, covered a long time. Tiger Woods, Super Bowls, NBA Finals, and has a new book out in July called On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. Christine went to the Caitlin Clark game last night where Caitlin was out injured. I want to get her perspective on how the WNBA navigates Clark being out, which has been the thing that has moved the needle when Clark has been in these games. Christine Brennan coming up, USA Today sports columnist on tap. It is Happy Hour Thursday, you bet. Rob Kagron's live in studio as we get set for next hour. Something I thought about today, I saw this happen the last couple of weeks. I've seen college basketball players go to the NBA, meaning they made themselves available for the NBA draft. And then there's numerous guys that are not going to stay in the NBA draft. They're going to come back to college. And so this is the NIL piece. And I wasn't so sure that this is how all this was going to play out. But I shouldn't be surprised. Like, if you're not a lottery pick in the NBA draft, you could get big dollars in college. Are you going to turn down $3 million for half of the work? Yeah, NBA season's longer, more of a grind, the whole thing. You're not guaranteed a spot. So if you're not a lottery pick, why wouldn't you just stay in college if you're a big-time college player? So I've seen this over the past week or so. If you've been following it at all, I'll just give you an update. There's a guy who's going to play at Michigan. He was going to go to the NBA. He decided to play at Michigan now for $3 million. That just happened yesterday. So he's gonna stay in Michigan, $3 million for this next year. There's another guy, Texas Tech. He was going to go, would have been a pretty good pick, they say. They say the reports are he's going to get $4 million to stay at Texas Tech. And then one more, this Alabama guard. Now, some people said, hey, this guy's could be borderline lottery. So how do you play that out? Borderline lottery pick. Hey, that means big money, 2-year deal, guaranteed, NBA. He's going to go back to Alabama. So you've never seen anything like this because we haven't had the NIL money flowing like this. So is that a one bright spot for the NIL? That, you know, we all hate all the money and the free-for-all and the Wild West. Is that one bright spot? It's keeping guys in college? And then I thought about this. I said, wait, if you can make this big of money, and if they, I mean, not just, I'm not talking about the guys making the $3 million, $4 million. That's next level talent. What about some of these other kids who played at USD this past year? They made six figures. They're going to Cincinnati. These offensive linemen, they're leaving for different places. They're making not the $3 million, but they're getting six figures. And I put this into play. Is this NIL money that's real money now, life-changing for a lot of kids and their families? Is this impacting parents and making us even more stressed of getting our kids, hey, we gotta get this college, we gotta get into college. Because you get into college sports now you can make some money. People would maybe tie in like, oh boy, this is going to make it even worse. NIL money is going to make parents lose their mind at youth sports games even worse. And I'm here to tell you tonight, I'm not buying that. I still think parents are, yes, we got to get to college. I mean, you know, a lot, you know, the crazy ones, not you and me. Not you and me. I'm not talking about you and me. There's parents say, we got to put in the work. You got to get better. You got to be on this team and that team, and you got to put in the work to get to college. I don't think NIL money is influencing parents and their personalities. Maybe you would call me naive, but I really don't think NIL money being paid to college athletes makes youth sports parents even more focused on, oh, we got to get to college sports now because we could actually make money. That's furthest thing from my mind. I'm just trying to make sure my kids get to college. Let's do all the other stuff after. So that's the furthest thing from my mind. I don't think that's a factor, but I throw out the question of the day to you. So you tell me on the Nate Brown Show, with NIL money actually getting paid, cash, is cash over scholarships actually making youth sports parents more focused on getting their kid to play college sports? Do you think NIL money is actually influencing parents and taking them, we got to go to this tournament, we got to invest this much in training, we got to get development skill, we got to do this and this and this? I don't think so. I'm here to tell you it's not like, no, parents still want to do the youth sports thing and you got to get to the next level. There's a lot of people that are doing that. The NIL money, I think, is a non-factor, I think. 71% of you are voting right now. Yes, it influences youth sports parents. The NIL money even influences the parents. 71% of you say the cash takes it more over the scholarship. So parents are even more focused on, well, if we get to college sports, we might get some cash. I'm not buying that one. 29% of you say no, it has no impact on youth sports parents. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show second hour with national sports columnist Christine Brennan. New book out on Caitlin Clark, and what's her read on Caitlin Clark's impact to the WNBA and what this injury is going to mean. Christine Brennan live next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
If you're grilling this weekend, be sure to have plenty of artisan.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. the #1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus, enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Looking for a new sport utility? Looking for one that's easy on the gas bill? We have them at Danny Mantle Rapid Chevrolet. Nearly 50 to choose from, most with the exclusive Danny Mantle discount, including 16 all-new 2025 Equinoxes, plus Traverse, Tahoe, Suburban, Trailblazer, and Trax. Finance terms to fit every budget. Rates as low as 2.9% APR. See us at Danny Mantle Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMantleRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Length of finance contract is limited on select models with qualified credit. Expires 6/2/25.
The hottest wins are at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resorts. Blaze into big wins with over $80,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs, including your chance to drive off in a 2025 Chevy Trailblazer. Win $300 prize packages every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to midnight, plus a $1,000 prize package at midnight. So qualify today and save the date for the grand prize drawing on Saturday, July 19th. Big wins all summer long at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Well, time to see how your car weathered the winter.
That it is. Let's make sure your vehicle is ready to handle the warm months ahead.
Being a AAA and ASE certified shop, I know you guys are well equipped to do just that.
Justin and our techs have all the experience you need in diagnosing and repairing whatever may be ailing your vehicle.
And if finances are tight for customers, you can help there?
Yes, we can. We offer the AutoPass card, which has really been a huge help for people who are in dire need of repairs. Call us with any questions on this program, or you can get an answer in minutes right from our homepage at anytimeanytime.com. Just click the AutoPass Apply Now button.
What a great option for those who have repairs that just can't wait.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic opportunity for many people.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, everybody. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialist. See anytimeanytime.com and at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Hey, glad to have you on board. Thursday edition of the program. Hope you've had a great day and you're into your afternoon drive of the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. A reminder, you can stream this show live every day on X at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. Happy hours coming up this Thursday with Rob Kegron, national radio host Rob Kegron. He's live every Thursday on the Nate Brown Show in studio. Got a lot to hit with Rob Kegron. He is ahead. I'm excited about our next guest. I've followed her work a lot. Does a great job. National sports columnist, USA Today. You'll find her across TV commenting on sports, and find her on X as well. She's there at C. Brennan Sports. Christine Brennan joins us live on the Nate Brown Show for the first time on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Christine, thanks for the time. How are you?
Well, Nate, I am great, and thanks so much for having me. And let's hope this isn't the only time. I would love to. I'm honored to be on, and I'd love to do it again. But thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, thanks for your time, and welcome on in South Dakota. So I reached out to you because I've been following this, and we're big Caitlin Clark fans here in South Dakota. We followed her at Iowa. Our listenership goes into Iowa, and so there's huge Caitlin Clark fans. We know the Caitlin Clark phenomenon in this part of the country. Now, I wasn't so sure what it was going to do in the WNBA. To be honest, Christine, I didn't know last year. I said, I don't know if it's going to go from college to the WNBA and move the needle like that. It has, and you've been in on this early. Why did you start following Caitlin Clark and saying, well, she is what the WNBA has needed? Essentially what you've been saying. What did you know right away?
But I'd love to say I knew all of it. I think I felt pretty confident that what we were seeing, the barnstorming around the Big Ten and obviously even around the country, that it would continue. It just seemed right to me. That this is the person. Caitlin Clark is that superstar. She's a basketball player, but she's really an entertainer. Those logo threes, chucking the ball, half court, from the parking lot. That's the high wire act at the circus. And I know this because for me, it's interesting. I've covered, I've been around a while, as you know, and I've covered a lot of sports. I've covered women's basketball and Final Fours and at WNBA. But I was getting ready, for example, I wasn't at either women's Final Four where Caitlin took Iowa to the final game because I was getting ready to cover the Masters, which I've done a lot. And so I'm watching these games, like in my kitchen on my iPad. I watched an Iowa-Indiana game in February of 23, and I'd heard about her, and I'd seen some highlights. But I'm lucky to cover the Olympics, right? I'm so fortunate to get to have this career of my dreams. And so I hadn't seen as much of her as maybe others would, and I wasn't covering her. And so I'm watching it as a spectator. I'm watching as an observer. And my reaction when I saw this incredible three go in for Iowa to beat Indiana, a game I was watching for Indiana. I went to Northwestern, but all three of my siblings went to IU, to Indiana, and one niece and a brother-in-law. So I actually was kind of watching from the Indiana point of view, and they were really good. They were ranked second in the country, and Caitlin Clark beats them on a last-second buzzer beater, legs askew, running off the court. I'm like, what am I looking at, right? What am I watching? And I watched every replay. And our family's all texting like, wow, that's too bad for Indiana, but what a finish, and Caitlin Clark is something else. And I think that actually helped me understand the phenomena in a way that was more helpful by being at home watching, like so many millions of Americans, than being on press row, where I usually am, where you can say, well, I've seen that before, or you can have chatting afterwards after you write your column or you're on deadline, and you're kind of like, oh, yeah, whatever. Maybe a little more cynical, or way we are as journalists, or, whatever. And I think it gave me a fresher perspective of what the country was seeing, and even then getting the opportunity to write a book, which is coming out, as you know. I'm telling the story the way I think so many people feel about it. And the beginning of my book, On Her Game, I actually say, I was introduced to Caitlin Clark by so many of you, meaning you readers, of other people out there, by a stunning three-point shot. And I think that tells, for me anyway, informed me and how I looked at her, not as a fan by any means, as a journalist, but who was also really an observer first. And I think that was very helpful in my reporting moving forward.
Christine Brennan joining us on the Nate Brown Show, USA Today national sports columnist. The new book is coming out. We're going to get to that. It's called On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. Now, here's an interesting one. I was following this. You went to the game last night. So Caitlin Clark's out, injured for the first time since high school. Sorry, Christine. I mean, all the fans were going to watch her, and she's out for the first time since high school. There were still fans going, and she signed autographs and the whole thing. But your headline on USA Today is, on the print edition today, is WNBA without Clark, league feels the hurt. You think, however, when she's out, this is going to be something to notice.
Yeah, well, it is, definitely. And, let's hope, first of all, and I know you agree with me totally, Nate, and your listeners, we hope she gets well and whatever, this muscle strain, this quadriceps strain, we hope it heals very quickly, obviously. That's first and foremost for Caitlin. For the league and for people who care, buying tickets, whatever, then, you want her back for any number of reasons, obviously the entertainment value. And you're right. So what happens is it's the Washington Mystics, and this is a sign of exactly the power of Caitlin Clark. The Mystics play in a 4,200-seat arena. And they built that in 2019. Well, they opened it in 2019 because they thought that was the perfect size for the WNBA. Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
4,200 seat. That's the Mystics. They moved away from Capital One Arena, where the Wizards play and the Capitals play, and they moved to the smaller arena. Well, now that they're in this smaller arena, they play there. They'll be there for, I think, Paige Beckers and most Angel Reese, I think. Maybe they moved one game for Angel Reese, but she couldn't come close to selling out Capital One. Capital One Arena is 20,000. Caitlin, they had two games there. over 20,000, including the WNBA regular season record, 20,711 in September for the Caitlin Clark Fever game. It's all about Caitlin, of course, and it's incredible. So this year, because the Capital One Arena is being renovated, they moved them to Baltimore. Baltimore Arena, an older arena downtown, not a couple blocks from Camden Yards, and it's 14,000 seats. I did buy 4 tickets on StubHub. Journalists do that. We don't always get freebies. In fact, I really don't ever want to get freebies. And I took my 3 sports-playing nieces, Nate, and 2 in their 30s, 1 in their 20s, still a great athlete and an All-American volleyball player. And we went to the game. Well, we decided to still go. We texted, and we still want to go after the Caitlin news. Yes, we're still going. My seats that I bought were probably, half to a third the price they were going, then they dropped precipitously.
Yes.
So, but that's okay. We had a really fun time. The game was not good, and of course the Fever lost, which shows the power of Caitlin Clark, how important she is for the Fever. But yes, there were big gaps of empty seats. Probably, I think the attendance was 11,000, and I'm not even sure if it was that. And watch the United Center. They moved the Chicago game next week to the United Center, 23,500. I'm hearing from friends at Northwestern in Chicago that those tickets are just rock bottom, and that could look really tough if that is not anywhere close to full. And that proves that Angel Reese, as good a rebounder and obviously strong player as she is, it's not Angel Reese that people care about in Chicago to sell out. It's Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, very interesting. It really is the dynamic. I've said, Christine, she's not moving the needle. She is the needle. And I'm thinking about this, and you referenced, you covered Tiger Woods, what he did to golf. He brought casual fans in that they didn't watch golf, but now they're watching Tiger Woods. He did that to golf. Do you think Caitlin's actually that for the WNBA?
I do, Nate. I really do. Now, I think this, a year and a few games in, we're not going to call her Tiger yet. I mean, Tiger Woods, I was so honored and it was just an incredible opportunity for me as a journalist to cover Tiger for the length of his career. And covered so many of his Masters wins, U.S. Open, British Open, PGA. I was talking about a front row seat. I mean, amazing. And that's a long career, 15 majors. Caitlin is not yet that, of course. She hasn't been around long enough. But in terms of the impact and the power and changing people's lives so that they then change their day, so they decide that they're going to want to watch a women's basketball, game, that is so similar. And that is exactly what happened with Tiger Woods. Grandmothers who wouldn't have known, the difference between a birdie and a bogey, changed their Sunday afternoons around Tiger's tee time, at the Masters or at other big events. Same here, and in this case, it's more men, guys who wouldn't have given women's sports the time of day for any number of reasons. They now have figured out where ION is, or the NBA channel on their dial and their cable package, whatever, streaming, or they want to make sure that they've got, Prime so that they can watch games. They have changed, and I've watched so many men who would never been caught dead wearing a number 22 jersey, walking in, streaming into Gamebridge when I was then, of course, doing the book and following Caitlin and on the road with the team. Extraordinary. So, yes, that's similar, and what's interesting, and what I tweeted about earlier today, is that what I'm seeing out there on social media is real, people who are not happy that it's only about Caitlin. Well, my goodness, with golf, it was all about Tiger, and the golf world accepted that and loved that. The old rising tide lifts all boats. It is very interesting to me, and I'll continue to report and write on this all the way into the book tour and onward, why it is that there are people in the WNBA who do not look at Caitlin Clark the way the golf world looked at Tiger Woods. That is fascinating, and I don't understand it because I've been fighting for years for these players. Hey, it's a 74% black league. I get it. They've been around for a long time, and the mainstream sports media ignored them, mostly. Now they care. Well, except that the spotlight is there, and everyone's learning more about Asia Wilson and more about, every player, Jewel Lloyd and Skylar Diggins and everyone, you name the player, Nafisa Collier, because they're now watching Caitlin, and then they also see everybody else. That should be a positive, and I'm not quite sure, Nate, why it is not a universal positive right now in the WNBA.
I'm with you on that. Christine Brennan joining us tonight. Before I let you run, let's hit that book. It's coming out July 8th, I saw, so I'm interested in it. It's called On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. It's coming out in July. Why'd you do the book? What are we going to learn?
There's a lot of breaking news, a lot of behind the scenes in the book. The Olympic snub, I go into that at length. I did break that story, but the decision that was just dreadful to keep her off the Olympic team, I've got all kinds of stories and new reporting there. I've got, her life story, how she played at AAU, how amazing she was as a young girl. I think that will resonate with girl athletes and boy athletes if you've got one in the house. And this is a book I wrote so that a 12-year-old will enjoy it and read it. Mom and Dad will enjoy it and read it, and grandparents. It's a magical Caitlin Clark story with some of these issues that I've discussed, that we've been able to discuss, sprinkled in, breaking news, things you don't know about her, things that people might not have heard before. I'm very proud of the breaking news in the book. The charter flights I go into, her relationship with Aaliyah Boston. Kate Martin is a great voice, the great Iowa star now in the WNBA. She talks at length about Caitlin and how she handles things. And Caitlin is throughout the book. She answered every single question. And let's just say this about Caitlin Clark. She's now 23, but she was last year 22, and I say she was going on 40 or 50. I mean, what an amazing way to handle the scrutiny, the pressure, all the racial questions and issues. I've got one columnist saying that she's the biggest racial wishbone, people pulling her this way and that way. Class, dignity, grace, what a role model. The autographs, she signed autographs for 12 minutes yesterday, went through the entire crowd before the game, and of course she does that when she's playing too. So there's just joyous, beautiful, magical moments in the book. I'm really thrilled about it, and as I said, I wrote it so that every girl and boy, mom and dad, grandparents, aunts, uncles, coaches could read it, learn from it, a story of an American hero, a wonderful person that has come along at the perfect time in our country when we have just fallen in love with what we've created with Title IX, the 53-year law, and those girls next door. Caitlin is that girl next door, all grown up, that everyone's been cheering for in their neighborhood. So it's a real labor of love, and it will be out July 8th. And I don't have South Dakota yet on the book tour, but I'll be in Iowa, I'll be in Kansas City, and maybe I need to get to South Dakota, and I'll certainly let you know if I'm coming in to do a book signing there.
That'd be great. I'm excited about it. Should be a really good book. Best-selling author Christine Brennan, USA Today national sports columnist. The new book's coming out July 8th. Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. It's called On Her Game. Christine, thanks for taking the time. Really good to have you. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Let's do it again soon.
I appreciate your time. Christine Brennan, USA Today national sports columnist, best-selling author. The new Caitlin Clark book coming out, On Her Game. Take a look. Get ready. July 8th is the release date. That's going to be great. I'll be on it. All right, let's get to it. Happy hour getting going on a Thursday with our guy Rob Kagron. A lot to discuss. Can his Knicks stay alive? We'll start there. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence. Go with trust. Go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
Fuel your summer with unstoppable savings at Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Save up to $6,250 on new GMC Sierra 1500, or choose finance rates as low as 0.9% for 36 months. Save up to $2,750 on select GMC Sierra HDs. Summer stock is arriving. Check out a great selection of the new Acadia, Yukon, Terrain, and Canyon. Shop online anytime at spearfishmotors.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling excess equipment for Galen Niederwerder and guests about 6.6 miles north of New Underwood, South Dakota. On the New Underwood Road to the Ricky Road auction site. John Deere 4430 with a cab and Farmhand 945 loader and grapple. Here's a John Deere 2030 gas tractor with a 3-point, Bobcat 753 skid steer, Featherlight aluminum gooseneck stock trailer, a Titan bumper pull 20-foot trailer, a DCT gooseneck flatbed with tandem axle duos. For more auction details and to bid and buy, go to McPherson Auction.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 48. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 81 tomorrow, mainly sunny. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night, lows around 56. Ample sunshine and dry Saturday and Sunday, upper 70s. Saturday, upper 80s by Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 67.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. Thursday edition of the program packed tonight. If you missed some of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It is there. Christine Brennan on tonight for the first time. I've followed her work a lot. National writer for USA Today. Best-selling author, has a new Caitlin Clark book coming out on her game. Christine Brennan moments ago. Mike Golick Jr. was on tonight. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It is there. Download it, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. And don't miss Happy Hour with... You know what I call you? I call you national radio host Rob Kegron. I mean, that's amazing.
Very nice of you to say.
I mean, I throw that out. It's just kind of like, well, I got to make him a big deal.
Boost my ego a little more.
And I mean, we don't lie on this program. That's real. So Rob Kegron is in every Thursday. We call it Happy Hour, brought to you by the Skybox, Rapid City's premier sports bar downtown. Your home for sports, craft beers from the Firehouse. It's at the Skybox, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, Rapid City, your summer headquarters, no doubt. Okay, I got to get into the NBA here because Rob Kegron's a New York Knicks guy. You told me off the air. I said, you ready for your Knicks to go down? Because I think the Pacers got them, and you've guaranteed the win tonight. It's amazing.
We're going to win Game 5. There'll be a Game 6. We're not going to win the series. I'm not crazy enough to say that. But
so you're not feeling good?
No, how can you? I mean, like, we were a disaster the way we lost Game 1. Game 4, we had, I mean, honestly, very poor performance in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And I am worried in the sense that they have not finished these games very well. But I do think they'll have enough of, the crowd will be infectious tonight.
Yes.
And I think that will burst them to one more game, but I don't think they win in Indiana in Game 6.
Okay, so you do think New York Knicks fans, the Garden tonight, they're going to get it done. I'm not so sure, just because the Pacers have had their number. I mean, Halliburton was just unbelievable the other night, so I'm not so sure, but I am with you. The Pacers are going to win this series. Is this a big disappointment for you? The Knicks are this close, and they're going to get beat by The Pacers?
Well, first of all, I don't think the Pacers get enough credit for how good of a team that they've been this year. They had a rough start, first 3, 4, 5 weeks, and they have been great. Actually, a little more than that. They've been great since January. One of the best teams in the league since January, with like 50 wins in that period of time. So I don't think they get enough credit. But the biggest thing about the Pacers is, Nate, they play 10 guys. There are 10 legit, really good players on that team. But will it be a disappointment? Absolutely. For a New York fan, the Knicks finally seem to have found something. Obviously Brunson's been really great for a number of years now. You put Karl Anthony Towns with them. You feel like that's going to get them over the top. They beat Boston.
Yeah, that was the big one. Yes.
Now how do we not get to the finals? If you lose it in the NBA Finals, you lose in the NBA Finals. But to not get there after beating Boston, it's an immense disappointment.
I think you guys counted your chickens before they hatched. That's a South Dakota reference, okay? Just so you're aware.
Thanks.
They don't say that now in New York.
We don't.
So I think that's what happened. You thought you had it. You don't. Let's go to last night. I opened my show with the Wolves, and I'm not a Wolves lifer, so I can't say I've been waiting like Minnesota Timberwolves. They've been so bad. They only had a good couple of years with Kevin Garnett. They went to the Western Conference Finals twice now.
Yep.
They've only made it 5 games. And Anthony Edwards said this last night. When they asked him, does this hurt, losing 2 years in a row? Western Conference Finals, does this hurt? He said, I don't know why people would think it would hurt. It's exciting for me. I'm 23. I get to do it a whole bunch of times. Hurt's a terrible word to use. I'm good. He said, on top of that, I heard from Mike Conley. Conley's been in the league forever. So I get it. I didn't love the phrase. That was word for word. What do you say? I'm good. That's a bad word to use. I get to do it a bunch of times. For the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, well, number one, you're really putting the cart before the horse. Is that a South Dakota expression, Nate? I mean,
yes.
The fact that you think you're going to be there every year, to me, that part is crazy. Now, Anthony Edwards is a great talent. He certainly has many years ahead of him. You would think many opportunities. But you and I grew up in an era where champions couldn't stand losing, right? It hurt them to their core, which is also what made them great.
Yes, I like that. I like when somebody's like, man, this is tough.
When it takes a long time to get over, right? You learn from those experiences, from those losses, and it only motivates you more, gets you to a better opportunity. You'll think about those moments when presented the opportunity again. I would, as much as you and I sometimes poo-poo LeBron would never say something that
I don't
like
think
that.
so. No.
Never.
No.
Maybe at the end of his career he might, right? But in the prime of his career, LeBron would have never said that, right? Because winning is everything when it comes to sports, and true champions cannot accept or be good with losing 2 years in a row in the Western Conference Finals.
That's what hurt is a terrible word to use. I'm good. I didn't like the I'm good.
Yeah, throwing that in at the end is a little much. You want to say it doesn't hurt you? That's the modern day athlete, right? I think the modern day star.
We don't like that.
No, I can't stand it. I want my guys to bleed. I want them to hurt so bad that they can't get out of bed for a week after a loss like that.
He said, nobody's going to work harder than me this summer. So he went on. So I don't want to just cherry pick but that was the phrase, and they said, nobody's going to work harder than me this summer. But I want you to, he just sees a little immaturity there. And he's only 23.
Yep.
There's a little immaturity I just feel like he's just kind of like, he even said last night, he said, they just played better. There's nothing you can say. He goes, they just played better. It is what it is. It's like, you had 9 points as a team in the first quarter. You guys got your doors blown off. There was no effort last night.
No, 32 points in the first half. I mean, you knew you had an uphill battle going into that Game 5. Oklahoma City has looked really like a champion.
Yes.
I wouldn't say all of the playoffs, most of them, but certainly in this series, they've looked like a true champion. But to go out with a whimper. Right?
Oh, it's bad.
I'll say this about the Knicks. They're not going out with a whimper tonight. We're not going to get our doors blown off. That's not going to happen.
Okay, probably not. Right. I like the Knicks mentality. I do like Brunson and some of those guys. I don't think they're going to say I'm good.
No.
Brunson's not going to say I'm good tonight.
No, and I do think there is a mentality of a champion. And a champion doesn't ever think it's good after losing 2 years in a row and really being embarrassed last night.
Yes, both game fives. They lost by 30 last year, and they lost by 30 again.
How can you be good with that? Like, you don't want to use the word hurt? I can understand that. Find a different word. You can't be good with it. You can't be content with that. I don't care how hard you're going to work all summer. That should pain you, that performance last night.
Rob Kegron in studio. It's happy hour. We're just getting going on a Thursday. I want to shift gears to the college football playoff. Are we going to figure out how to do this college football playoff? Are we going to go to 16 teams? Yes. That's what everybody's saying. How should we line this thing up? 5 teams, 11 teams, 4. I mean, we're going to play hopscotch here next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox. We are Rapid City's premier sports bar with everything you want for the best game watching experience. Bring your crew and take in the action while enjoying our Firehouse craft beers, specialty cocktails, and a great menu of Firehouse burgers, nachos, and more. We have every game, every night on our 35 big screens, and there's not a bad seat in the house. Come and watch your favorite team at the number one place for sports, the Skybox, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, downtown Rapid City.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Isn't it time for new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen? With mortgage interest rates where they are right now, so many people are renovating their own homes rather than moving. And there's never been a better time to invest in awesome new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen. Renewal by Andersen's legendary windows have been the best you can get for decades, but many people don't know that Renewal by Andersen also has incredible new ensemble entry doors and the entire Acclaim line of replacement windows, which are winning rave reviews from clients. Renewal by Andersen's windows, ensemble entry doors, and the entire Acclaim line of replacement windows will make your home so much more energy efficient on cold winter nights or hot summer days. Those new windows and doors will make your home so much more quiet and secure. We hear that all the time. Please visit RBARapidCity.com to schedule a free consultation. Be sure to ask about our great offers and really attractive financing options right now. Renewal by Andersen Windows and Entry Doors. Isn't it time?
This is the Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to the Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. Fun show, as always, Thursday edition of the program. If you want to text us, you can do that. Rob Kegron's waiting for your text on the text line, 605-720-1067. Write that number in your phone. Put it in your phone. It's the Nate Brown Show text line, 605-720-1067. Be a part of Happy Hour with Rob Kegron on Fox Sports Radio. Happy Hour every Thursday brought to you by the Skybox, the lead sports bar in Rapid City. No doubt, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, Rapid City. All right. Do you find this college football playoff thing? I find it interesting. I'm a college football fan. You're a college football fan, but you're NFL king over
absolutely.
everything. I'm NFL first. College football second for me.
Yep.
Second for you?
In terms of all sports?
Well, just, like watch, hey, college football Saturday's on. I got to watch it.
Yeah, I'm watching most of the day, for sure.
Okay.
And a lot of that has to do, of course, I'd like to put a shekel or two down on the game.
Yeah,
so,
not too bad.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're aware of that. So I'm looking at it saying, what's college football going to look like? Is their postseason going to ruin their regular season? We used to just have bowl games, and they were big, and the Rose Bowl and the whole thing. Then we went BCS, the computer system, which I still don't quite understand. But then we went college football playoff here, 4 teams.
Yep.
Just 4. Now we went 12. Now they're talking this week at all the meetings, Big 12, SEC, Big 10, 16. So they're going to go to 16 teams. Is this the right call, first of all, to expand the playoff? They're going to be going pretty deep here, 16 teams.
No, absolutely not. It's ridiculous. There are not, 16 great college football teams, right? Like, I get why you want to do it. First of all, the money they can't turn down, the television ratings, the television contracts they get out of this, they're never going to say no to it. But you're watering it down by far. And I agree with you. You're going to water down the regular season because, Alabama plays LSU. Who cares if they win or lose? You're still going to get in.
Are we? I'm a college football fan, so I watch everything from the Mountain West to the FCS to the big matchups, Alabama, LSU. Am I still going to care about LSU, Alabama? I think I am.
You'll care about it, and you're going to watch the game, but the game doesn't have the same kind of consequence, right?
Yes. So if Alabama goes down, you're like, oh, boy, that could be it. That could be it. And now it's, they'll be fine.
They'll be absolutely fine. Same thing with Ohio State, Michigan. Now, if you're a fan of one of those two teams, the rivalry means everything to you. But do you really care that? From our perspective, the winner of that game, it doesn't really change anything. More than likely, most years, both teams will get in anyway.
Yeah, so 16 teams. They're trying to figure out now, that's the way we're going to go. So they're kind of telling us, hey, we're going to expand this thing. What's the right setup? Here's what was thrown out. I said yesterday they're going to do this because it wouldn't surprise me. 4 automatic bids, just auto bids, SEC, Big 10. You're going to get 4 no matter what. 2 to the Big 12, 2 to the ACC, but I want to stay focused on SEC, Big 10. That would be like the NFC East not getting any more teams because you guys stink, but giving the AFC West automatic 2 teams, no matter what. Automatic, because we've been so good with the Chiefs. Let's do automatic in the AFC West. I can't have auto bids. Auto, no matter what?
I think auto bids should be for the conference champion, right?
Okay, so that's the new one they're talking. They were talking 4 auto bids, no doubt, guaranteed SEC Big 10 each.
Well, and that's because they control everything, right? With the majority of the teams and the real money and the big TV contracts, the SEC and the Big 10 are not going to be said no to. But I completely agree with you. You can't have half of the field made up by auto teams from just 2 conferences.
They're close on this.
No, and particularly why I don't like it is because there will be years where maybe the SEC deserves 6, right? Because they're that good, right? There's 6 really great SEC teams, and there are only 3 great Big 10 teams. But what, we're going to do 4 and 4 just because we're stuck and we have to put that 4th team in?
I'm with you on that. And I think they woke up to that not even 24 hours later. Now the new discussion is actually, wait, why would we limit ourselves to 4? We might get 6 in, as you just said. They said the SEC said we would have got 6 last year. If they had this format last year, they would have got 6. So then they thought, maybe we can talk people in. They're still trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes like, oh, no, this is better. 5 conference champs and then the top-ranked 11. But isn't that okay? Conference champs, that could be a Mountain West, could be a Boise State, and then the Power 4. Is that okay then after that to just go the highest ranked 11? Just no matter what conference, is that okay with you?
Absolutely. That's what we want, right? We want the best teams there. We want, if we're going to make this 16 teams, why wouldn't we want to put whatever those 16 teams are. There would be only one team that you could argue, well, should they get in or should they get not? In terms of like a group of 5, like you said, a Mountain West or something like that. But short of that, you're going to have the best teams by doing it this way.
So let's put this into perspective. When you think about it, if you're in the top 25 in college football, I guess you're pretty good. But do we really think about the 16th team being like really good?
No, absolutely not.
You don't.
No, of course not.
So I'm sitting here. You're going deep into the top 25 and putting them in the playoff. You're going down to 16. I mean, you're going to end up with teams that's like, wow, this team's making the playoff?
I mean, the 16th ranked team, and we should look this up, right? Like, how many, at the end of the season last year, the 16th ranked team in the country, how many losses did they have?
Yeah,
probably
right.
4, right?
Yeah, probably 3, maybe 3 or 4.
I mean, is that really a great team? I wouldn't say so.
Like Notre Dame. Notre Dame was good now last year. I understand. They were good. But Notre Dame's a guaranteed here. I mean, you're taking 16 unless they just fall off the cliff.
Every year they're
Notre
in.
Dame's automatic.
Every year they're in.
So they're going to get one, and then you've got this battle between who's good enough in the SEC and Big Ten. So I think you're going to end up with not just 4. You might end up with 6 SEC, 6 Big Ten anyway. You might end up with that.
Absolutely. But then it's based on their merit, not based on some ridiculous notion that we have to put 4 of these teams in, because every year isn't the same. Let's not pigeonhole ourselves into something that we can't get out of in a few years.
Okay, so we'll see if they do this. 5 conference champs. I'm gonna endorse that. I was saying yesterday they're not going to do it that way, but they look like they might get that. 5 conference champs. That keeps the conference championship games alive, and then the 11 highest-ranked teams after that. So that's where we're at. You don't love it, but you don't want the automatic field set.
I'm okay with the 5 conference champs and the rest being based on the rankings from there. I just don't like that we need to have 16 teams. Do we really need to have 16 teams compete with 4 extra games at the end of an already long college football season to determine who's the best? If that 15th or 16th team wins, you're not going to tell me that that's the best team in college football. They just got on a run.
Here's my worry. Since we have so many teams getting in, let's say I know I'm not going to be in the SEC title game, but I know I'm in the top 16. Am I going to play my guys the last game or so? I know I'm good. I mean, this is like the NFL.
Yep.
Do I rest some guys? You've never seen that in college football. Does that happen? I don't know if it does or not, but if I'm guaranteed a college football playoff spot and I don't want to, it's not a big deal. Does that happen?
I think absolutely it happens, right?
You can't have, I mean, a loss means a lot in college football, but
not as much with 16, right? I mean, there will be teams in that 16 that have 3 losses. I wouldn't be shocked if there was a 4-loss team that makes it to the playoff. You can withstand the loss. You can't withstand injuries to your players. And they're already going to play. You're adding 4 more games to these guys.
Listener text coming in, 605-720-1067. Listener text, the games will become more about seeding. The regular season games, I think, will become more about seeding.
I think if they do it with a bye, the home games, I think you're something to play for, right? Like they will love hosting a playoff game. I think they'll love getting a bye.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't beyond that you're not going to play for it. If you know you're not getting a home game or a bye, but you're getting in, what does it matter?
And by the way, the kicker on this, to get really into the weeds in college football, the SEC only plays 8 conference games.
Yep.
The Big Ten plays 9.
Right.
So that's a big sticking point. Like the Big Ten's going, wait, you guys are at the table, same table, and you get to play an FCS school late in the year?
And I get that, but let's be honest, the SEC, almost every one of those games is a tough game. There are some clunkers in the Big Ten. Let's be fair.
Wow,
some teams that are not that great.
There's a few clunkers in the SEC, too. I mean, the Floridas and people like this.
Florida, just the last couple of years, but Florida traditionally is an excellent football school. Let's be fair about that.
There's some clunkers.
I mean, even Kentucky is much better. Vanderbilt played great this past year, right?
Well,
beat Alabama.
So there's no. You're saying there's no Northwesterns or
Rutgers. I mean, Minnesota is not the greatest team in the world.
Don't mention the Huskers, okay? Don't go there.
They've been a little better.
Just be careful. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show. It's Happy Hour with Rob Kegron. PFF just ranked the quarterbacks. We're going to wrap up the show with this. This is good stuff. PFF ranked the quarterbacks going into the 2025 season. Where's my boy Bo Nix? Well, we'll tell you next.
This is South Dakota's Sports.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
The summer heat will be here soon, but our hot summer savings sale is on now. Get $1,200 off every door and $800 off every window. Plus enjoy no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Get an extra 5% off your entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Hurry, this exclusive offer won't last long. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your windows and doors, so grab these hot savings while you can. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 48. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. High temperatures reach up to 81 tomorrow, mainly sunny. Mainly clear skies tomorrow night, lows around 56. Ample sunshine and dry Saturday and Sunday, upper 70s. Saturday, upper 80s by Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 67.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, we got 5 minutes left of happy hour, okay? Let's make it count. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Glad to have you on board. As always, Rob Kegron's in studio. Thursday happy hour presented by the Skybox. Get to the Skybox Sports, live sports, Firehouse beers, wine. I mean, they got it all. And great burgers, nachos, the food you want. Watch the games at the Firehouse Skybox, Main Street, Rapid City. All right, PFF comes out with the rankings. Let's finish it off. Here we go. I saved the best for last for Rob Kegron to see how goofy he can be. We've agreed a lot tonight. I mean, this has been something. We must be in a good mood. It's nice weather. And PFF ranked Bo Nix as the 19th best QB in the NFL. The 19th best QB. I got to say, I'm not like a Bo fanboy. I mean, Sparky is down there as coach, but I'm not a fanboy. I think he did a nice job. I like his mentality, leadership. I mean, I like him. 19th, I took a step back. I said, went to the playoffs. The Broncos have been dog biscuits. Went to the playoffs really strong after week 5, like really strong. And he's 19th best QB in the NFL. When you see that ranking, you say what?
I think it's fair.
It's fair?
Yeah, absolutely fair.
So you know Geno Smith's ranked number 10?
Yeah, well,
Number 10?
I did see that, and that's ridiculous. There's no way that Geno Smith is the 10th best quarterback in the NFL. But
we got. Let's see who else is up there. Baker Mayfield, number 13. Trevor Lawrence is number 16. So is Trevor Lawrence that much better than Bo Nix?
No, he's 3 better. I mean,
so he is.
I think he's slightly better. I think the jury's still out on Bo Nix. I think he had a great first rookie season, right? But I don't think we know what Bo Nix is yet. I think he has the potential to be very good. I would be happy with him as my quarterback after that first year, but maybe you want to say he should be one up or so. I think you can make the argument that Tua, who's 18, you could flip-flop those positions, but I don't think you can go much higher for Bo. What could you make him? 2 higher? You're telling me Baker Mayfield is not better than Bo Nix? Baker Mayfield is better than Bo Nix. C.J. Stroud is better than Bo Nix.
I guess. C.J., boy, he took a step back, didn't he? So I'm not so sure. You talk about one good year. That's all he's had.
Yep.
CJ had one good year, and then he took a step back. So I'm not so sure. Your boy Brock Purdy's number 11. Number 11, is that fair? I'd see. Now, that one, I'm like, that might be about right. Brock Purdy, 11.
I think he's
probably... Geno Smith's ahead of these guys? Geno Smith's ahead of Jordan Love? I mean, give me a break.
I don't get the Geno Smith infatuation. I mean, the guy's never won anything. He's a decent quarterback. You're going to win games with Geno Smith. You're not winning anything big with him. I think Geno probably should have been down closer to where Bo is, to be quite honest.
PFF ranked the quarterback, so we're just running through this. Caleb Williams is down at number 24.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think that's low. I mean, come on. Caleb Williams he's behind Drake May. Give me a break. He's behind Michael Penix Jr. because Michael played 2 games. Give me a break. That's absurd. Your guy, J.J. McCarthy, you love him. Yeah, right. I do. You don't. 21? What are we saying? We don't even know what J.J. is. He's 21?
Yeah, we haven't seen him play one game. I mean, that is patently ridiculous.
So this is kind of goofy. You're saying this list is goofy?
I think the middle of the list for sure is goofy, for sure. You know, putting a guy like J.J. McCarthy who hasn't played a game, above guys who actually... Drake May looked pretty good towards the end of the season last year with the Patriots.
Oh, better than Caleb Williams? I want you to say that tonight.
Yes,
I want you to say that
he
tonight.
Did look better than Caleb Williams towards the end of the season.
Drake May is better than Caleb Williams. Did you get that? You got that on the air?
He looked better than Drake. He looked better than Caleb Williams toward the end of the season.
Well, I've
never been sold on Caleb Williams. You know that. I'm not a big fan.
You know the raw deal tonight? The raw deal in this list? The 26th best quarterback. What a disrespect. Sam Darnold. They put Sam Darnold at 26. Russell Wilson at 27. Your New York Giants quarterback. What disrespect do we have for these guys? All they've done is win games. That's what they've done. They've won more games than half of these guys would even dream of.
Okay, you can say that about Russ, but you can't say that about Sam Darnold.
He won 14 last year.
He had one season, Nate. One season. He's had a below average career until last year.
26, Sam Darnold? That's ridiculous. I'm going to say this list is bogus. Bo Nix, number 19. Just a little step back. I'm going, probably... I would have moved him up a couple. You said
maybe,
a couple?
Yeah, 18 or 17. I could see that. That's no more than that, though.
Okay, Sam Darnold, 26. Who's bringing up the rear? Tyler Shuck, New Orleans Saints rookie. Mason Rudolph.
Jeez.
Number 31. And Joe Flacco, number 29. Joe Flacco. The fallen have fell there. Justin Fields down to 28. Do we believe in Justin still?
I think he has an opportunity for a bit of a renaissance. I would not be shocked if he had a decent year this year.
Okay. Well, Rob Kagron's got Russell Wilson. He's going to be better than you think, and so is Sam. Rob Kagron in on a Thursday. Happy hour in the books tonight. His Knicks trying to stay alive. He's going to be juiced up tonight, and I'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. Happy hour presented by the Skybox, and the podcast going up now.
It may not require a textbook,